Okay, and we're live. April 29th, Crush It team call, and we are going to be focusing tonight on 5-star holding, how you get there, what it means, and just some different ideas on things that we did right as a team and things that we could have done better, and hopefully giving those of everybody on this team who is not yet at that position some tips and things to do for when they do get to that position. But before we dive into everything, does anyone have any recognition that they want to do? If you do, if you'll please just unmute yourself and go ahead and go for it. Anyone for recognition?
I do.
All right.
Deborah. I just wanted to shout out my brand new coach, Sari, who hit Emerald last week. She just started and super proud of her. So go, Sari.
Awesome. Anybody else have recognition? Okay.
I do. Sorry, it's Jordana.
Yeah, great.
I just wanted to shout out all my coaches who just completed the Coach Training Academy this month. They have all been tagging me and stuff like that, so I'm super proud of them. So good job, ladies. There was about 5 of them that were doing it, so I'm excited for them to just kick off their businesses.
That's great, and that's exciting when they're interacting back and forth and giving progress updates. That's perfect. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Well, if somebody has some recognition that comes up, just feel free to jump in or raise your hand. And also, along the way, I would love for it to be interactive if you have questions. So I, along with Sue and possibly Cammie, if she can make it on, are just going to present a few ideas. But along the way, please feel free to raise your hand, to speak up, to unmute yourself, and just ask questions and comments. And I know that other people have ideas too on how they've gotten to where they are. So would love any input that you have. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a background. I know that there's a bunch of new coaches on since the last time I spoke on a call. It's been a little while, so I'm going to just give you a background of who I am, how I got into the business, and so you have a little idea of where I started. But basically, I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, grew up here, went away to college in San Diego, studied business finance, and knew that I loved business from pretty much the time I opened my own golf business at age 7. And I knew that that's what I wanted to go into. So fast forward a little while, I got my degree in business finance from San Diego, moved to San Francisco, and San Francisco is a very significant piece of this puzzle. But I worked in the financial industry there for about 12 years. I trained financial advisors, and then I moved back to Utah to become a financial advisor myself. But when I was in San Francisco, I have been an athlete my whole life, played basketball my whole life, and that is how I met Elda, who is my upline coach. So Elda is, Jamie is Elda's upline coach, and Elda is my upline coach. So we played basketball together for many, many years, actually, and we lost touch when I moved to Utah for just a bit, and then we got back in touch. And to be honest with you, I think it was shortly after I had my daughter Sophia, who's now 8, that I reluctantly ordered some Amazon DVDs. I hate to say it, but I didn't even know what Beachbody was at that time. So I ordered DVDs. I'm wondering, am I supposed to be, can you guys see me speaking? Because I see somebody else's face on the main thing. I just want to make sure it's, okay, good. So I reluctantly ordered some DVDs because I could not get out of the house anymore to go to the gym or go for a run without a babysitter. Same story as we've heard a lot of times. But I didn't even have an active Facebook account at that time. I didn't even know what Instagram was. I was not a social media person. I basically was anti-social media, but for some odd reason, I happened to get on Facebook one day. I had never posted anything of myself. And I saw Elda's post about some workouts she was doing and connected with her. I reached out to her. I said, hey, it looks like we're doing the same thing. What are you doing? And that was kind of history. So she reached back out to me. And then I think within like 2 or 3 days, I said, sure, I'm all in. I want to do this because I fell in love with the programs. So I was still working as a financial advisor at the time, part-time, and I was doing coaching very part-time too. And that was 2.5 years ago. But when I say part-time, like I went all in. Even though I was part-time, I went all in. I didn't look back at all and just was 100% into it. So that was about 2.5, almost 3 years ago this summer. And I since have left my financial advising job. I still help on the side a little bit. I help my husband's business as a bookkeeper, and coaching and being a mom are my full-time jobs. So, okay, that's shoot, hold on.
So they're going to give the agents more power.
Okay, I think we're all muted. If anyone wants to talk, just unmute yourself. Okay, so I started building a team just through challengers, and I must have asked Sue and Cammie and Jamie and all the people on my team for the most part multiple times, and they told me no multiple times, and then they finally all gave in one by one. And Sue is going to speak on this call about communication, but the reason I tell you that is because if I hadn't have kept reaching out to these rock star coaches, who knows where I would have been today, because those people that I named right now are the 4 others that helped me, or 3 others that helped me get to where I am. My second CBC and my husband are the other 2. And that means that we're in 5-star holding with those 5 diamonds. But the reason I tell you that is because I kept reaching out, and I was reluctant because I could see something in these women that I knew that they would be good coaches. And I didn't really even know what any of this meant at the time I was reaching out, but I just knew that I loved it. And I knew I wanted to work with these women because, for obvious reasons. So 2 years ago, our team hit Premier. And again, to be honest, I had no idea what that even meant. I didn't track anything. I just put my head down, and I had great working coaches who we all just did what we were meant to do. And, then I got a phone call saying we were Premier, and it was amazing because, like I said, I didn't track anything. I didn't go for anything. I just did what I knew how to do. Now, last year, we missed it by 5 points. And again, I didn't track anything. I didn't know exactly where we were going. And that was like salt in the wound because it was 5 points that we missed it by. And had I known what to do and had I known what to track, then those 5 points never would have been missed. So point is that when you're a new coach, you may just want to be putting your head down and you may just want to be focusing on getting challengers. But I encourage everybody to start learning what it means to get to that next rank and beyond. So that, if the opportunity comes up that you have a big goal to hit, you don't miss it by 5 points like we did. Okay, so I'm going to tell you now 5-star qualification. What exactly does it mean? And what does it mean to me? And I'm going to go over how we got there, what will change if we do and when we do hit 5-star, and then also just some tips and things that you can do from now wherever you are in your business. So what does it mean to me to be in 5-star qualification? Honestly, it's been somewhat of not a validation, but somewhat of just knowing that what I'm building and what we are building as a team is a true business, and it is it's a solid foundation that will get us to the next level. It feels like a real business rather than just thinking it. And the reason I say that is because I've told myself from day one that this is a real business. And I've told myself from day one that I am treating this like a business and I am acting like a CEO. Sorry. But it didn't 100% feel like it over the first couple of years because, it is what it is. And you're just building people and you're trying to get people to say, yes, they'll trust you enough to join you. So hitting the part of, 2-star holding and 3-star holding and whatever rank you are at this moment, it's Grand Central Station, of course, now, it starts to feel like something is building and it starts to feel like it might be. Just go.
No, it isn't.
Okay, then go get Dad. Go get Dad. Sorry, guys. So it starts to feel like, the snowball is getting bigger and what you're doing is really paying off and what you're building is really paying off. And so for me, it's been a really big confidence booster. It's been a really big team building experience to get to that point. It's also told me that we have a solid team of business builders and people who are also treating it like a business and thinking of it as a real business and thinking as a CEO. And I will say that since we've been in the holding period, I've seen some changes in people that, that weren't there 2 weeks ago. It's sort of a mindset switch too. It sort of puts us all in the mindset that, okay, this is big. This is a big deal. We can do this, and it takes every single one of us in order for us to get there. It really encourages pulling together as a team and working towards the same goal. And I know that that's what we're all doing, and that's what we're all going for. But it really, really gives you a sense of it's a team goal, it's a team business. And if every one of your discos and if everyone on your team is not sort of helping with that or aware of what's going on, that can affect the status. So again, the most important thing, what it means to me, I think, is just that it's an official, real business. It feels real, and that we are really pulling together as a team. It means that our coaches are advancing and holding. So a lot of times people think, oh, well, yeah, the Upline coach is going to hit 5-star, and that's all great and fabulous for her, but what does that really do for me and my business? And to be honest, that's the totally wrong mentality, because without the stars, we can't get there. So it only happens if it's a team business, and it only happens if all of us pull together, hold our rank, check our back offices, and run it like a business where we're encouraging new people to come. Okay. Any questions so far on what I've said? Okay. What will change with 5-star status? So there's a lot of things that I think will change. But again, I think that confidence in my own business, confidence in our team of leaders, their own confidence will change. I think that's going to be a huge step. And this doesn't have to just be with 5-star. This can be with 2-star and 3-star and Emerald, and whatever is your next goal. That can change your confidence. That can change your the camaraderie on your team. It can change a lot. So not only is it a confidence booster, it's a team builder, and it's just a way for everybody to pull together and to really do it as a team. Okay, so perks, events, it creates a better experience all around. So when we hit Premier 2 years ago and we went to Mexico, I had the privilege of going to the Elite and Premier reception along with Sue, because Sue was my date. So the two of us got to go to the Premier reception, which was also the Elite reception. And not that it's all about parties, and not that it's all about, the social events, but I will tell you, it gives you a better experience overall. And we got to speak with the CEO. We got to speak with Autumn. We got to speak with all the people that we are, watching and learning from daily. And it also helps build your business, because as you're at these receptions and parties and events, you get to show on your social media, well, this is, these are pretty cool perks of what we do. So I believe that hitting your next level is going to open up more doors and give you a better experience overall. Now, I will say it also trickles down to your challengers. It gives them a better experience overall. Now, how is that related? How does me going to an Elite reception help my challengers? I remember I was able to ask Autumn to her face, just one-on-one, Sue and I and Autumn, and I got to ask her 3 questions that my challengers had for me, and then I got to record her, and then I got to go back to my challengers and say, hey, this is what I just learned. And so it gives you more credibility, it gives them a better experience, and it just really helps you grow your business. Okay, so everybody's curious a lot of times, okay, what does it do for your business monetarily when you start hitting 1-star and 2-star and 3-star and 4-star? So I didn't realize the intricacies of how it all works, but basically Beachbody gives 2% of the total Beachbody volume out paid quarterly. So that's our quarterly bonus. We've all heard about quarterly bonus, but I didn't really realize exactly what happens. And once I became in the 5-star holding position with our team, we looked it up and we thought, okay, well, what does this really mean? And it basically means that if Beachbody does better as a company, or whatever Beachbody does, they're sharing it with us as coaches. And somebody asked me, well, doesn't that mean if there's more coaches, doesn't it saturate the market? But it doesn't, because that means that the company's growing, and that means that they're able to give back more. So let's just talk about some examples. So once you hit 2-star, today I was on a training and I heard that I can't remember who it was, but in one of the summit runs or the dynasty groups, and they were talking about you really want to focus on diamond and beyond, because once you start hitting 1-star and essentially 2-star, that's when things really start to change. So 2-star quarterly bonus is on an average around $1,000. 5-stars on average around $2,700. 10-star can be anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000, and 15-star can be anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000. And that's the bonus that Beachbody is giving us for helping the company and for advancing. Now I'm going to say this, Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income from coaches. It depends on your effort. That's the disclaimer. And a lot of times everybody just reads over that, and I was about to just read over that, but it really struck a chord with me because it's the disclaimer, yes, but it really has meaning. So a lot of times people come into our business and they think this is going to be a quick fix, or I'm not going to have to work too hard. I'm just going to hit these star levels. And that is totally the opposite, right? That we all know from experience, if we've been doing this long enough or we've been working hard enough, that it really depends on our effort. It really depends on how much we put into it, and the sky's the limit, as we just heard in these numbers, but it's not going to come to us just by waking up each morning and doing our workout. So those numbers pretty much, blew my mind, because once you start growing your business, and once we as a team start growing our business, yes, we can be in 5-star holding, but that also means that coaches under us are then hitting their new goals. And so we're all winning together, and it helps everybody as a whole. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions on the quarterly bonus or anything to add to that? Okay. And Mike, if you're on, if you have anything to add to the monetary side of things or anything else, please feel free to speak up. Because like I said, it wasn't until I got to this point that I started digging in and really doing research on what this really means. So it's all kind of new to me as well. All right, so how did we get here? I'll be honest, I wanted my business to grow a year ago 10 times, tenfold. Elda will be the first to tell you that I'm not a very patient person. It tests my patience. When I want something, I want it now, and I want to build it now, and I want to advance it now, and I really want to grow my business. I have so much heart and soul into this that I want to see changes faster, and they're not happening as fast as I would like them to. But what I did realize when Jamie asked, how do you feel you got here? I think that I really feel that we got here by being slow and steady. And maybe it's not that slow, but for me it feels slow. But being slow and steady means finding coaches who want to work the business, and finding coaches who feel as passionately about the business as I do. And they're a dime a dozen, you guys. It's hard to find people like we are, right? We all say, I wish I could just find 5 more people like myself. Well, I've decided, and after hearing so many people speak, it is a true numbers game. And the more people that we ask and attract, the more chances we have of finding that diamond in the rough. So I feel that our team is slow and steady in a very good way, because we're finding quality people who want to work the business. We're finding business builders. And like I said, it's a numbers game. Out of every 200, 5 people might say yes to being a challenger. So that right there tells us that that's high numbers. Like, you got to ask a lot of people in order to find the people. But how we got in this position, I really truly feel because it's quality over quantity. And I feel because it's people who care, and the coaches on our team truly care about the better of all of us. It's not an individual sport. We're all team players, and we truly want everybody to succeed. We are all learning each and every day to run it more like a business, because it is. I think none of us really had an idea of what we were getting into in the beginning. And yeah, we did it because we loved it, and it was a hobby, and it was just something that we all passionately fell in love with with the programs. But we didn't realize the capacity to which we have to run it as a business. And we are learning that each and every day. And I will say that being in 5-star holding I could probably speak for our team in the sense that it's opened up our eyes so much to being a business builder, being a CEO of our own business, being responsible for our back offices, and truly pulling together as a team. Okay, so the number one thing that has to be there in order for not only for the 5-star to happen in the first place, but in order for us to hold long enough to get there, is communication. Without communication, just in any relationship or anything you do in life, without communication, it's not going to happen. And Sue and I were chatting, and we both decided that communication is the biggest contributor to where we are and to the fact that we need to keep going. And we already lost a week or two, actually, because of a lack of a communication or a lack of knowledge of what I needed to do as a leader. And so what happened after that, as I said, thank goodness it was in week 2 and not the week before Summit. Yes, it was awful and I was so mad at myself, but I was so thankful that it was early on and early on enough that we can still make it before Summit. And so what happened at that point was totally open communication between all of us, and totally and complete open communication with every one of our downline discount coaches or VIP members or whatever it may be. So I'm going to turn it over to Sue. And just so you know, the reason that we fell out for a moment is because I didn't realize that I needed 20 active coaches in my first CBC. I was so busy building my second CBC and my husband's account that I didn't realize that 2 of my discos in my first CBC had paused their Shakeology for a week. And I didn't realize that. So that right there lost us 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember. So anyway, we're back to square one, but we now know better what we need to do, and we're going to get there. So I'm going to turn it over to Sue for a moment, and she's going to talk about communication and what she has learned in this process and how she sees communication as being so important. So Sue, are you there, and can you unmute?
Yes, I am here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, great. Hi guys, happy Monday. I'm so happy I could be on the call. I wanted to talk a little bit about exactly what Alethea was talking about finding the diamonds in the rough, right? And I think all of us will say that you try to find people that are like you. Well, the real true portion is that's really hard to find. Alethea and I joke that like if we could duplicate each other, and if I could like build my business with Alethea plus Sue, it would be great. I'd be crushing it. I'd be at the elite party. Forget the premier party. I'd be at the elite party. But that's not the case. And that's not what leadership is. And I was thinking, as Alethea was talking about, how when I was in college, and I think Alethea can relate to this as well, I was that person that hated working on group projects because I always felt like if I got paired with people that didn't have the same work ethic as I did, they didn't have the same drive as I did, or they wanted to like mooch all of my answers on a test. I'm like super hard worker. I studied really hard, and I wanted to be with people that were like that. I like to be in the library, slogging it out, doing my work, and those people that like to just copy my answers, skip class, want to grab my notes, it would make me furious. And group projects would make me nuts because I would be working with people that maybe didn't have the same sort of ideas or drive as I did. Well, being a nurse, I'm a nurse in the NICU, so fellow nurses out there, that is why this opportunity draws in so many nurses, so many teachers, so many people in the healthcare industry love coaching like I do because it is one of the very few other jobs where you get to help people. And so as a nurse, I'm, work with people every single day. And I feel like this coaching opportunity really parallels so nicely with that because you're helping people in the best way possible, right, with their health. But I have found that this has really sharpened my honing in on leadership skills, which I think I always probably had, but never put to the test. As a nurse, I told myself, I don't know anything about business. I didn't go to school and learn about business. I'm in healthcare. I help people. Business makes me uncomfortable. Selling makes me uncomfortable. So what this has done for me is prove to me that working with people and building a team is like a group project. You have to know that, as Jamie and Kim have talked to us about. I loved their walker, jogger, runner scheme because every coach has a different idea of what they want to do with their business. And the best thing that I have learned is you have to meet people where they're at. So what I've tried to do and communicate with my coaches is saying to them, I want to stress to you how important it is for you to hold your rank, and whatever that is, whether it's an emerald rank, whether it's a diamond rank, you are just as an important rung on this ladder as the people from the very top to the very bottom. And that's what I love about this opportunity, is that every single person on our team is making that difference. So I wanted to be sure that I was crystal clear with my leaders to say, you are an equal part to this. And it doesn't mean that Alethea goes on stage for five star and that's the end of it at Summit. It is a celebration of all of us, because that is what is making this all happen, is getting us all together. So I've had to drop that group project mentality and really know that every single person has a different way that they build their business, but that is the magic behind what we do, right, guys? Because if I tried to run my business the way you did and attract the people that you're attracting, it would never work. So that is the beauty of why we are all so unique and so different. And this has really fired our team up so much that we are determined we all want to change our rank by the time we get to Summit so that we can walk the stage with Alethea. So excited.
Awesome, Sue. I love it. And I wanted to just say one thing about what Sue and I had mentioned about cloning ourselves. Well, the awesome thing is that 2-star and 3-star, and as we move forward, we do get to clone ourselves. So, you know, my second CBC is in my full control, and that's one of our diamonds. So I love the opportunity that Beachbody gives us to, you know, get to the point of where we want to get and do it in a way where we're able to work hard and reap the benefits of it. So, okay, mistakes that we had, or that I had made as a leader. And the reason I want to share these with you is because if I can help somebody avoid one little pitfall like the darn 20 active coaches, then that's great, because when you get to that point, you'll say, oh, I remember there was something. Now, what was that? And you go and look it up and you go and figure it out so that you're not missing, you know, you have 19 or 18 coaches. So, and I will say, well, I'll come back to that. Okay. So not learning and checking my back office daily was one of the things that I wish I would have done sooner. I'm a business major. I do the bookkeeping for my husband's business. I was running people's portfolios, yet I wasn't checking my back office. Something does not add up there. So I could kick myself for not learning that stuff sooner. So I would highly recommend, and we've been encouraging every member on our team, whether they are a coach, an emerald, a diamond, whatever, a brand new coach, to go in and check your back office. And now we have days that we have to check the back office, but I suggest checking it every day, because think about it. If you had a brick and mortar store, if you had a business, you would close out the till every day. You would, you know, take all the cash out of the cash register, and you would do your bookkeeping or have somebody do your bookkeeping every single day, basically. So why are we not doing that for our own businesses? So that's mistake number one that I would encourage everybody to do. And if you're a leader on your team, what is your back office? So your back office, Molly, is going to be where you're going to go into your coach office and you have to check it. Oh, Mike, I think you're answering it. Perfect. So checking your back office is, I think, a vital of a business owner. And I think that no matter what rank you are, if you're a leader, encourage your team to have days to check it and then get to the point where they're checking it every day if they can. Okay, communicating with my team what's needed. And I will be completely honest here. I know a lot of my team members are on here. I was a little bit afraid to communicate what was needed because I felt selfish in the fact that, yes, I'm going to hit 5-star, but I feel like that's kind of a me thing, until I really realized it is not a me thing. It is not an I thing. It's a team thing, because I can't get there without everybody else getting there. And if everybody else is getting there, that means they're advancing their businesses as well. So why would I think of that as an I thing? But I did feel embarrassed, and I did feel a little bit, you know, just apprehensive about saying, come on, you guys, I want to get to 5-star. Why can't we all do this? So I didn't communicate what was needed of these people and my teammates and my leaders and my business partners because I was embarrassed. So communicating is key in any relationship. Now that we are totally clear on what's needed, I feel like our leaders on the team are growing and advancing even more. So communicating is key. Do not feel bashful, because like I said, without your team members and your partners, you can't get there. So it's a team effort. Not knowing all the qualifications, I just told you that I was too short last week of active coaches in my first CBC. So that was a real bummer. And had I learned them sooner and looked into everything sooner, I would have known that that was a key thing that I needed to fix. And I could have fixed it just as easily as I did the day I found that out. and then not being totally clear on what it was I needed to do and what it is that we needed to do as a team. So again, it all comes down to communication, but be a business owner and be a CEO who checks her back office or his back office daily. Keep some sort of a spreadsheet so you know what you're doing, you know what's happening, and you know exactly what to look for. And if you're trying to hit a rank, let's say you're trying to hit 2-star. Well, your qualifications and necessities are going to be different from what mine are at 5-star. I didn't really understand that as you get higher up, your PV may change, your number of active coaches may change. So learn every step of the way what's needed as soon as you're at that point or even before. Okay, there was something I thought of I wanted to say, but I forgot what it was now. Hopefully it comes back to me. Shoot. Anyway, okay. What can you do as a coach at any level now to move your business forward? You can understand, like I said, that every single discount coach and coach matters. And here's a perfect example. So when I checked on the day I looked at my back office on Thursday and it said, now you're in 4-star holding. And I said, what the heck happened? When I checked, it showed that my 76-year-old dad was going to be inactive for the following week. Well, that right there was such a huge eye-opener for me because, you know, you may have a discount coach or somebody who's just simply ordering for the Shakeology discount. Well, that person could be crucial to you hitting 5-star. So when I say that every single person is involved, it goes down to every person in your downline. So what I did after finding that out was I reached out to all of our coaches who then reached out to all of their coaches and said, each and every one of us is important. So for example, my husband has an Emerald coach under him who has 2 coaches under her. Like that's a few levels away from my business or whatever, my downline, right? It's a few levels away. But if my husband's Emerald coaches don't understand that they're part of this whole equation, then that could be affecting the ultimate outcome. So what we did was we tried to trickle down and we tried to say, okay, so everybody tell their coaches and everybody in our chat understand that each and every one of your discount coaches is a vital part of this, and each and every one of their discount coaches is a vital part. And as you know, in the beginning, it's not as hard to keep track of, but like I said, 20 here and 20 there, you got to make sure that everybody's on track each time. So communicating to your coaches who then communicate to their coaches. And then if you need to reach out to a disco, you know, like for example, I had to reach out to a disco today who I know loves all of our products because I needed that 20th coach active by Thursday. So I just reached out to her and I said, hey, are you planning on ordering your bars and shake this month? And she wrote back to me, she said, oh, it's all scheduled for May 5th. So I'm getting it May 5th. And I said, hey, is there any chance that you might want your beach bars earlier? And here's why. And she said, 100%, how can I help? Absolutely. So she moved the date of her beach bars. So those are just little ways that you can reach out to people and get everybody involved and just make it a team effort. And there's going to be people that you're most comfortable with reaching out to and saying, hey, this is where we are. Even if they're just a disco ordering for the discount, that they're willing and able to help. And it may be as simple as 1 week, you know, that they can just change their order. So another thing that I really encourage people to do, and this may be a hard one, but as a coach and as a leader, if you sign up to be a coach, and if you sign up to be a coach who says, I'm all in, I want to do this, and then your actions aren't matching exactly what it is, I would encourage everybody to just do your coach, do your upline a favor, and let them know where you want to go with the business. Because maybe you are all in on week and month and, you know, day 3, but maybe you decide, okay, this isn't for me, but I still want the discount. I would say, and maybe you're a discount coach who wants the opposite. I would say that the most, I think, something that would be so helpful to your upline coach is to state to that person what you want to do and be clear on it. And if your goals change, it's okay. But as leaders, and we all know if we have coaches under us, as leaders, we invest so much in our coaches, and we have such high hopes for everybody that during a process like this, it's really truly helpful for a coach or a discount coach or anybody who's in the downline to just be totally transparent and just be totally honest with your upline coach so that they know that yes, they can count on you for this, or no, they can't, then that's okay. They just have to work harder to find somebody else to replace you. So one of the most respectful things that I think that we as coaches can do for our uplines is explain in full transparency what exactly we want out of our business. Okay, so what's next? The path after 5-star and beyond is obviously elite, and after Premier is elite. And so now we're in the position that when we make this our team goal and we get to a 5-star team, hopefully in the next few weeks here, then we have the capability of becoming an elite team. And being an elite team is something that all of us can use to our benefit. And like I said before, I think the experience just gets better for everybody involved, including our challengers, all the way down to our challengers, once we hit these different levels. So obviously, we're focused right now on 5-star, and then we know that can open up bigger and better doors for all of us. And I think it's just been such a team bonding experience that it's very rewarding, and it's that much more exciting and fun to work with, some of our best friends. So with that, I will leave it, and I will just check the chat really quickly. But if anybody has a question or a comment, or if anyone has, advice and wants to speak up, go right ahead. The 3 most important things you look at the back office, non-negotiable. Okay, so, there's probably Mike or Jamie or Kim might be able to answer this even better, or Liz if you're on, but the 3 most vital and important things that I look at, I try to look at everything now, including the new customers, the downline, who's done what. But as far as, I would say, volume, I would say, my most looked at report is the sponsorship drill down. I look at that probably 3 times a day now, especially during this holding period, because if something changes in your sponsorship drill down, you got to act fast so that before Wednesday at midnight rolls around, you can make changes, your team can help. And I think that goes for every time of the year. We may not know that we're in some sort of a holding period. I didn't even know about Premier. How ignorant is that? But had I known, I would have been looking at our back office all the time. So I would say sponsorship drill down, volume, look at all your new customers in a day, because if you have a new customer, if you have somebody who just renewed their on-demand, that's a reason to reach out and say, hey, I just saw that you renewed your on-demand for $99, but if we bundle it, you can get your Shakeology for $60. So I use a lot of those different ways to reach out to customers as well. I would say my favorite report right now is a sponsorship drill down, and I'm sure that everybody else can give their suggestions as well.
Thanks, Alethea.
You're welcome. Anything else anyone wants to add? All right. Well, I hope that was helpful, and I hope that you got at least one takeaway. I know that wise words from my dad. He always said that if you have to attend a lot of different trainings in life, right? And you listen to a lot of things, and sometimes it can be hours and you only got one good nugget out of it. But if you get one good nugget out of something that you can go and then take and put into action, then it was well worth it. So I hope that I gave you at least one good nugget that you can go and to put into action today. And I hope that everyone has a great night. Bye, guys.